Water is one of the most essential natural resources for the sustenance of animal and plant life on the earth. Availability of potable water is an important issue in urban areas and villages. Planning for optimal use and conservation of water resources is a subject of great interest and concern for us. India should consider itself blessed, as it is one of the wettest countries of the world, with an average annual rainfall of above 1000 mm per year. However, what we do with our waste resources needs much better planning and implementation. Why do we have perennial contrasting scenes of devastating flood in certain states of our country, crops being destroyed because of water scarcity, long queues of men, women, and children waiting to collect a bucket of water, water taps overflowing the streets? The Indian subcontinent gets a large amount of rain during the summer monsoon. Tamil Nadu is the only state in our country which gets most of its rain during winter monsoon. Water scarcity. Water shortage is now becoming a global concern. By the year 2020, India may become a water scarce region, with huge parts of the country facing acute shortage. You all know that 22nd March is celebrated as the World Water Day. This is to spread the awareness and to reinforce the importance of water conservation. We all can follow these simple practices and contribute to water conservation. Take one initiative each day that will result in saving water. Remember to use only the amount of water you actually need. Promote water conservation in community newsletters and on bulletin boards in school. Make sure that pipes in your home are leak-free. Do not leave the tap running while you are brushing your teeth or soaping your face. When washing the car, use water from a bucket and not a hose pipe. Forms of water in nature. You know that water exists in all three states of matter, which are interchangeable. The alternating process of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation produces a continuous circulation of water between land, water bodies, and atmosphere, forming water cycle on the earth. You have learnt about the water cycle in class 6th. A. Thus, during water cycle, ocean water which is salty changes to fresh water as the huge amount of evaporation from ocean surface forms cloud and precipitates as rain or snow. The rain over the land mass are stored in lakes, rivers, dams, and also replenishes the groundwater. B. You will also notice that in the water cycle, snow melts to become water and flows in rivers solid to liquid state. Water from rivers, lakes, and oceans keeps on evaporating liquid state to gaseous state, which again condenses. So all the three states of water keep changing into one another in the water cycle. The continuous cycle of water among its three forms keeps the water reservoirs of the earth, the seas, the land masses, and the atmosphere in constant communication with one another. Various forms of water available on the earth. Forms of water: solid, liquid, gaseous. Examples: glaciers, ice caps, snow, ice sheets. Oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, ponds, groundwater. Water vapor in the atmosphere. Different kinds of water resources. Oceans. These are the largest body of water on the earth. Oceans cover about 71% of Earth's surface and contains 97% of Earth's total water resources. Water in oceans and seas is rich in salts and is therefore not fit for human consumption and agricultural purposes, but they are very important for the water cycle. A small change in ocean temperature has a dramatic effect on rainfall pattern. Snow-capped mountains. These are major sources of water to the perennial rivers. During summers, the ice melts and the moving ice known as glaciers provide water resource to majority of rivers. Just 3% of the total water on our planet is fresh water, non-saline. Out of this, a very large portion of the fresh water, that is 2.90%, is stored as glaciers and ice caps in the polar regions. Rivers, lakes, and ponds. A very small percentage of fresh water, that is about 0.1%, is available for human use in rivers, lakes, and as groundwater. Rivers provide irrigation to large agricultural tracts. Water flows down the hills from glaciers as streams. Streams join to form larger streams, which in turn form rivers. Rivers flow into lakes or into the seas. A lake is a large body of water occupying a hollow surface on the earth. A much smaller water body is called a pond. Groundwater, a part of rainwater that seeps into porous soil and rocks and keeps filling the spaces till it reaches the layer of impermeable rock, is called groundwater. The level of groundwater below the surface of the earth at any given place is known as water table. It varies from place to place. Water which is stored below the water table is the groundwater. Rainwater percolates into the ground through infiltration, and the groundwater thus gets recharged. Groundwater is an important source of water for supply in towns, villages, for domestic and industrial purposes. It can be taken out by digging bore wells, tube wells, and hand pumps. Groundwater level is going down at many places in our country. Withdrawal of groundwater in our country is between 20 to 40% of available water, and this is not getting replenished.
Aquifer. An aquifer is a natural reservoir of water that can be used for drinking. It is formed by a layer of underground rock with a recharge area from which water seeps into it.
The need for water. Water is essential for life. Both plants and animals need water to perform various life processes to survive and grow. Water provides suitable medium for the chemical processes taking place in human body and other living organisms. The bodies of plants and animals are made of more than 70% water, so it is obvious that there shall always be a great demand for water. Water is also the habitat for a large number of aquatic plants and animals. The sea, despite its salinity, is home to millions of animals and plants. A. Water for human use. We use water in almost all of our daily chores of eating, drinking, cooking, washing, and bathing. 50 liters, that is about 2.5 buckets, is the quantity of water recommended by the United Nations per person per day for consumption. B. Water for urban and industrial use. As human population is growing, the natural habitat of plants and animals are shrinking. Overpopulation creates a demand for constructing houses, roads, shops, and industries. Urbanization has led to deforestation. Forest areas are cleared to build houses and industries. In the industry, water is used as a raw material, coolant, or a carrier agent. Great stress is put to recycle water, thus reducing the demand for water slightly. The amount of water in the environment is affected in the following ways. Deforestation leads to reduction in rainfall. Overutilization of water in urban areas and industries has resulted in water table going down. The groundwater is used faster than it is being replenished by rain. Excessive construction of buildings and roads also reduces absorption of water by the soil as it reduces percolation. C. Water for agricultural activities. Agriculture in our country is dependent on rainwater. Due to erratic rainfall or monsoons not in time, farmers have to depend on other water resources for irrigation. They irrigate their crops by wells, canals, rivers, and tube wells. The increasing use of groundwater has resulted in depletion of water table and has put extra pressure on groundwater. To regulate water flow in rivers and distribute water evenly throughout the year, dams have been built on a number of rivers. Dams are huge reservoirs of water created by building walls across a river. This prevents water runoff and flooding during monsoon. The stored water can be released as per needs of irrigation and/or power generation. Factors leading to water table depletion. 1. Sudden rise in demand of water in urban areas because of rise in population and expansion in residential settlements. 2. Rise in demand of water from industrial sector. 3. Rise in demand of water from agricultural sector because of multi-crop farming. 4. Deforestation leading to scanty rainfall and large water runoff because of lower water retention by the soil. 5. In urban areas, more and more ground is covered by concrete and asphalt, leading very low percolation and huge water runoffs. Effects of water scarcity. A. Humans. When there is a water shortage in our body, we feel thirsty. This is a signal telling us that there is water shortage in our body which needs to be replenished quickly. In summer months, we sweat a lot and lose water. Sweating keeps our body cool. If we do not drink enough water in summer, we would sweat less, leading to a rise in our body temperature. This could give us a heat stroke. Disease such as diarrhea depletes our body of water as little water is absorbed from the gut. In severe cases, patients need to be given saline water with salt by intravenous route. Virtual water. The development around us has changed our consumption pattern and thus has raised the water demand. For example, 1 liter of biofuel ethanol produced from corn in USA is variously estimated to use 1500 to 4000 liters of water. The concept of virtual water is important because then we know the hidden water consumption in products like coffee, sugar, fruits, tea, cotton, rice, wheat, etc. B. Plants. Plants need water for photosynthesis. The minerals dissolved in water is absorbed from soil by the roots and transported through xylem for their growth. You must have observed plants wilting and drying up, especially during hot summer days. Wilting happens because the water lost through leaves by transpiration is not replenished. If water is not available for a long time, it leads to permanent wilting and death of the plant. However, desert plants like cactus and aloe have special mechanisms to overcome the adverse conditions. Water footprint. While a person may consume 100 liters of water from taps, he might be consuming 10 to 30 times this amount of virtual water, much of it coming from different parts of the country or even other countries. If you live in Delhi and drink a cup of tea, you are also consuming water used to grow tea in Assam and sugar cane in Uttar Pradesh. Thus, your water footprint could be additional 50 liters just for the tea. Water management. Rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is the process of capturing and storing rainfall to prevent its runoff, evaporation and seepage. Its efficient utilization and conservation. Rainwater harvesting is an effective tool for utilizing the huge amount of high-quality water which otherwise goes as waste to the sea or, in case of urban areas, down the drain. In designing a rainwater harvesting system, the key concept is capturing rainfall runoffs from the roof of buildings and roads and creating artificial connectivity to subsurface water in hygienic condition. Components of rainwater harvesting. 1. Catchment area. 2. Conduit. 3. Filtration system. 4. Storage system. 5. Reuse system. Rainwater harvesting can be as simple as an inverted umbrella that collects the rainwater and directs it into a container. Alternatively, it can be a complex system that harvests every drop of rain that falls on your premises and then puts it back into your water supply system. The choice of the system depends on the size of the catchment area, the amount of rainfall received, the end use of the harvested water, and of course, your budget. Drip irrigation. This is an innovative technique of watering directly the individual plant instead of the entire area under cultivation as with flood irrigation. Thus, water is used economically, saving up to 1/3 of the water. Drip irrigation decreases water requirement and labor and also minimizes the water loss due to evaporation.
Case studies. 1. The project formulated at Rotary Marg opposite Rotary Bhavan, Jaipur, accounts for an average 600 mm per annum of rainfall.
This rainwater harvesting can add water up to 288,000 litre per annum. The system has drains on both the sides of the road for capturing runoff water that also serves as a footpath. The drains are connected to rainwater harvesting system. This system not only helps in improving the groundwater level but also increases the life of the roads as there is no stagnant water. Johads. Johads are well-known traditional system of water storage for lean periods in several parts of peninsular India. These are simple mud barriers built across the contour of a slope to arrest rainwater. These earthen check dams are meant to catch and conserve rainwater. 2. Alwar district in Rajasthan was faced with a severe drought during 1985-86. In 1985, volunteers from Tarun Bhagat Sangh, a voluntary organization led by Rajendra Singh, came to Alwar and began the tradition of building johads. Johads are earthen check dams built to collect rainwater during monsoon. These small dams become very successful and over 4,500 johads have since been made. Rajendra Singh was the 2001 Magsaysay Award winner for his path-breaking work. Conservation of water. Human beings have always used intelligence and enterprise when faced with adversity. Johads are an excellent example. Here are some more. A. Drip irrigation technique developed in water-scarce Israel is now followed all over the world, including India. B. Water recycling process is used in many office buildings and households. Gardens are watered with recycled water. C. Rainwater harvesting structures are now incorporated in most house designs and colony plans. D. At an individual level, each one of us has a positive role to play in water conservation by adopting good habits and processes, which can be as simple as repairing leaky taps and using a bucket to wash your car instead of piped water. E. In small villages, people have started using PVC pipe to transport water from tube wells to fields instead of mud canals.